This week's episode is brought to you by Tabletop Backer Party on Facebook, which is the largest board game crowdfunding group on this side of the internet. Hello everyone, welcome to I'd Back That Kickstarter with Gloryhound and...
The Doctor.
That's...
Of Gloryhogs. Dr. Gloryhogg.
The Doctor of Gloryhogs? Wow. Are you trying to elevate yourself?
We've been on camera a lot lately. I'm just getting, really weird.
Is it?
Yeah, because it's like we're doing this 4 times a week. Plus, I feel like we're doing like 2 for Steve Jackson. I just feel like we're on like a lot, so I'm just getting a little loopy.
Hello to everybody in chat
today.
today.
End of the payroll week. Now you all know that I work in payroll.
I'm so excited for everybody in chat today. I mean, first off, we have Platypus Industries here to answer questions for you guys. I always love it whenever the publishers show up to help answer any questions on the campaign that we might have. I see John C. and
Yeah,
Alan.
I want to know what John C. thinks my pick of the week is.
Ooh, we have Petter in chat. We have Nathan. Oh my gosh, there were so many people.
I will spoil alert, there's 3 that I want to back, but I'm trying to talk myself out of like 1 or 2 of them.
Are you?
Yeah.
It's a tough week this week, guys. Fatal Paper Cuts in chat. Hello, everybody. So, gosh,
I only go outside to look for my stimulus check, Alan. That's it. That's it. Where is it? I want my stimulus.
Stimulus checks coming in.
I want it back Kickstarters.
You need your stimulus check in order to back all these Kickstarters this week?
To be fair, like most of us need a stimulus check just to back like one, like, you know, come on, like.
One come on campaign. Yeah, all of it just goes out the door.
I put come on down like last year or the year before that, 2018. I put come on down as one of our dependents on our taxes. Because I was spending so much money on Come On products on Kickstarter that it felt like it was fair that I could claim them.
You make it a dependent on your taxes.
I spent more on that than on my kid, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that lazy Susan on this, I'm so excited to talk about that.
Ankh all in, $100, that's pretty nice.
They did a good job.
I'm glad that the all in is $100. Now, they've done this before where they've had like 1 up and we're like, this is great, they only have 1 up, and then like
and then all of a sudden
of the campaign they're like
halfway
through expansions. Now it's 250 all in.
We're going to talk about that. I think they did that specifically for a reason in this campaign, and yeah, we're going to talk about it. So hello to everybody who went ahead and joined us in chat today. As you know, we are super live with our comments, so if you guys have questions, want answers,
too fresh, too live,
want to talk to us about certain things, like drop us some comments and we'll get you in.
Or type in a comment. Don't just drop a comment.
Well, that's how all the new kids say it. That's how all the kids say it, okay? Gosh.
I don't even know how to type, apparently.
All right, first up here, we have the Ratcatcher. This is by Platypus Industries. It's for 1 player. It's going to last about 30 to 45 minutes. This is essentially like a dungeon-esque crawl style game where you are going through here trying to find a magical cheese and keep it safe from all the little ratties populating the board. You can lay traps for the little rats. And it reminds me of like a sort of Pied Piper sort of game, but like a huge version where you're all, I don't want to say like roided up, but like you have like crazy magical powers. You run in there and you're like slapping rats around and stuff.
Well, it's like whenever they add like weird to something, right? Like Reichbusters added weird with the viral, like that made all that whole scenario kind of weird because things were all mutated and stuff. Ninja Turtles, they added weird with ooze.
Like these are like, these aren't like Master Splinter rats, right?
Well, I don't know. That one's got a platypus beak, so I don't know. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So anytime you add like mutagen or ooze or weird, or you add like ghost rock and like the Wild West, I'm all about weirding up normal stuff because normal stuff is weird enough. You add just a little bit more weird, and it equals the perfect amount of weird for Dr. Gloryhogg.
So Fatal Paper Cut, the cheese is magical. It's magical cheese you're chasing.
It's magical brie.
Honestly, any cheese is kind of magical, though.
It's like heroin.
It is. This cheese is so good, guys.
I'm like allergic to it, and that's the one thing I miss.
So tempting.
Out of all the foods that I no longer eat because I found out that I'm allergic to them, cheese is that one. Apparently, all my favorite foods involve cheese in some way, shape, or form, and I #miss it. I get a lot of dairy substitutes.
Several different rat catchers that you're choosing from. You get to upgrade them during the game. This board is modular, so it's a different sort of board every single game that you end up playing with. What other sort of crazy highlights was I thinking?
So, like that was my one critique. I was like, oh, is there only 1 character you play as? But there is 4. Because otherwise I could see getting kind of samey where you're like, okay, well, yeah, the whole room gets generated and new every time, and you put out new figures every single time and stuff. But if you only play one character, it could get boring. Or you can kind of figure it out, but you've got 4 different characters you play, which is really, really nice.
Absolutely. Mark already says, I'm backing Ratcatcher. It looks really, really good. There's been a lot of buzz on this game too, guys. I've heard lots of good stuff about this game. And for a first-time creator on this, oh my gosh, this campaign looks fantastic.
Ooh, Ratcatcher number 5. I like that this is, like it is, a first-time creator.
Number 5.
It's a solo game, which is very apt right now, right?
It's
a good time for, like, people are really feeling that solo game. If I could get it earlier, that would be nice. I like that it's more of an adventure. Some of the other solo games we've gotten, some of them, like Marquee was good, but there's been some other ones that were just like card-based, like just solely card-based, and I was like, oh, this is a pattern matching game. Okay, and then I was like, oh, it was a one and done for me. So I like that there'd be a little bit more involved. If I'm going to play a solo game, I want it to be something that I feel like I'm doing something, not just going for a best score. I like this whole fighting in a dungeon.
Here's the thing with these. I think this is actually
the sewers.
Okay, so overall, dungeon crawl style games are perfect for solo players. And there's a lot of solo players that play dungeon crawl style games. So I'm surprised that I actually haven't seen more dungeon crawl style games that are solo based. Does that make sense? Because I feel like there's a ton of people I know that specifically play like Tainted Grail solo, solo, where you're going through all these campaigns, and it's a good way to go through and get all of that content in, and then you can also follow up with your friends later in other games with other campaigns. But
I don't plan on getting new friends.
Oh, no new friends? Just solo games for now?
If I play a game solo, that's it. I'll be like, nope, I've already beat it, and I don't need you. Apparently, you guys were dead weight.
Let's see here. Nathan says, I need to know what I'm getting into with time to ponder my feelings, add-ons, and pledge levels added as the campaign goes on. Feels like moving the goals around. It gives me less time to consider.
I believe Nathan's talking about
I think you're talking about the CMON game still. Yeah, absolutely. Where's Petter? Only 3? Oh my gosh, I'm like lost in the comments at this point. So, Dr. Gloryhogg, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yes.
Yes are your only thoughts?
This is one that I added because I thought if I'm going to play a solo game, I am more likely to play an adventure one. And like I said, I really like the aspect of like roaming around the sewers fighting these weird rats, right? They're not just like, oh, there's a black rat and there's one with like a stripe on its ear.
Oh, that's true too.
There's a scarred one. Like these rats are weird. And like a big old bundle of rats, for some reason I'm like fascinated by the idea of those like rats that get so tangled up together that their tails get like tied up and they're like a big old bundle of rats. It's in like D&D, you see that sometimes, and that is like the creepiest thing ever to me. That big old rat ball.
Or like
what do they call that?
The Magic the Gathering cards where you have that big pile of rats.
It's so creepy. The thought of them all being together, like their tails getting all twisted up, and so they can't like disengage. They're just like this rolling mass of like just fightiness. Oh, thank you. Okay,
so this also is on Tabletop Simulator, which I also wanted to note. There's a couple of campaigns this time around that are on Tabletop Simulator, which I always love. Thank you so much, Platypus Industries, for putting it up on Tabletop Simulator, because that gives people the ability to try that out ahead of time, which I absolutely love. Like, there's nothing bad with that. I mean, this campaign looks super put together. Not only am I impressed, but I have to say I really like this campaign, guys. As soon as I started reading about it and going through, I love the theme. I love the art, who was saying something about the art? Somebody in the comments was saying.
Platypus said they did all the art themselves.
What?
Yeah, everything is all done. As far as I understand, the vast majority of this game is done by like one person. They did like the gameplay, the art.
Oh my gosh.
When they wanted to do playtests for it, they just set up mirrors. So they were like, hey, I like this. Me too. Hey, I like it. Hey, very good. You know, that's how they got it done. That's the way you do it. That way you get no negative feedback. It's all good.
Platypus Industry says that, Tabletopia is a great way to test games too, which is absolutely super great, because you don't have to send out those pre-production copies for it and stuff,
Right. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. No, I think I'm actually in on this one. I'm excited about it. It looks like it's going to be a really fun little adventure. Like I said, I like the weirdness of it. I like weird games.
The base pledge for this game is $45. And let's see here. I thought there was a deluxe version as well. Let me go scroll up, guys, here. So we had, I'm looking down on the bottom here. Okay, so $44 US for the base copy here. And you get the print and play with it and everything. I thought there was another one though.
Nope.
Oh, no, it was just the one.
The Horde. You
Why
can go
was I
retail
thinking
on
there
a
was
bunch.
like other ones? So they're
One
gonna
of the
have
games
all.
has a deluxe.
Okay, maybe
Planet
that's what I
Unknown
was
has
thinking.
deluxe.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Guys, like
More Science kind of has a deluxe.
I don't have anything bad to say about this game. I'm so
I guess that's good. Yeah.
like happy, like excited for a first-time creator to have such a put-together campaign, to have such a unique and cute idea going with the Ratcatcher, to have put in all of the work with creating like it as a modular board and everything, and then having several different Ratcatchers to choose from that you can level up and stuff.
Huge. Like the fact that like the dungeon's different each time, and then that you have different Ratcatchers you can play with, who just have their own abilities that you get by collecting this cheese and using it.
Right. The only thing that I can personally say is that since it is a first-time creator, as far as like stretch goal, or I'm sorry, not stretch goals go, as far as when is this supposed to be delivered? Yeah. Sometimes because it is their first game, so they're saying December 2020, plan on a couple more months just in case, because a first-time creator going through Kickstarter and getting those new connections with manufacturers and stuff like that, sometimes it can have delays and have extra things come up and stuff that they weren't planning for. But as far as like the price goes and everything for this, $45 for all those little, what is it, raffles? I want to call them raffles. All the little raffles. I don't feel it's really a bad like price and everything. Like
that was actually our band name when
the
I was in junior high. Yeah, the Rapples.
The Rapples would be a great band name.
We were a fresh band that was in the 90s. We were like New Kids on the Block, except we had rat tails.
Yeah, this one kind of like hit me like out of like the blindsided. It blindsided me. I had nothing. I didn't even know what this campaign was, and I loved it as soon as I started going down and reading everything about it. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Gloryhogg, for finding this lovely campaign for me. Okay.
Reaples is good too. I feel like I want to save Reaples though for when I get like a Grim Reaper game.
Yeah.
I think Rapples.
I like Rapples.
Yeah, Rapples.
Yeah.
Let's go with Rapples. We got Rapples.
All right. What do you guys think of this campaign? I want to know in chat what you guys think about this.
This is what Kickstarter's for.
I was
for these little weird campaigns that you just didn't see.
Man.
It's not like majorly published all over the place and everything. I think this is like a go-for game.
Guys, this is my number 2 for the week. This is my number 2.
Everybody, she is
number
all
2.
about it.
Like, I can't. There's nothing I can super.
Reaples,
There's nothing I
like the
can
Grim
super
Reapers.
say. Yeah, like it's just. I'm super excited about it.
I'm just looking at
That
all the different names for all the Reaples we got going on here.
And this is why I talked about this one first, because I was so excited. So, are you in? Would you back that, Dr. Gloryhound?
Yeah, this is one of the 3.
One of the 3 that you want to back
one of
this
the 3.
week.
I'm talking myself out of one of them now. It's not
What?
this one though. This one I feel like we don't have a lot of on our shelf either. We only have a few like solo campaigns that are directly solo.
You being a non-solo gamer,
Yeah,
because
typically I don't. I've only played a few games solo.
Am much more apt to play solo games. Like I'll play a solo game all day. Okay.
Yeah, I've only played Fleet Dice solo. I played Orchard solo, which was like a little tiny card game, and then I played Marquee solo, which was fun.
Right.
That's it. I think there's only 3 solo games I played.
Right. But as far as like you going back to solo games, I've only seen you really go back to Fleet Dice.
Yeah, it's got to be an adventure style one. I thought about doing Reichbusters solo, like because we had set up Reichbusters, and you were. I think it was when you were going to.
Gamma?
Gamma.
Yeah.
And so it was all set up on the table still, and I was very tempted to just play that campaign.
Well, what do you feel?
finish
How
it
do you
out.
feel about this particular campaign? Since you are not normally a solo game player, is this something that you feel like?
This is probably the only style I'll play. Like I'll play, like I said, Fleet Dice. It's a little bit different. That's a very lighter, like a lightish game. But
And
this
then-
is one that I play because it's an adventure, and I feel like that's the best ones to solo are adventure type ones.
I do have one question here for Platypus. So, since this is an adventure style game, do we have any
Are we in
sort
for
of?
2 so we can play solo together?
You play solo and compare? Do we have like a campaign style portion of this? You know what I'm talking about? Like, do we have like a little story that goes with it? I know there's a little bit.
There's lore.
But like, can we see in the future like campaign style portions of this?
Maybe that'll be like an unlock, or maybe that'll be something that they'll do for the next one. I'm already thinking about the sequel.
I know, right? Like
Haven't
an
even gotten
expansion.
the first one.
You could have like different places you go to. Like this is you going through a town.
I
want
want to see a hunter that gets bit by one of these weird rats and like it mutates that person.
Oh my gosh. So, Alan, what we'll do is we'll get 2 copies and we'll play in tandem And
Same
then,
time?
yeah, and then at the end, we'll see how well we did with each, who did better on each campaign game.
When you're the Ratcatcher, just surviving is the best you can do.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, see, first expansion is more of a story.
Not in the core, yes, but the first expansion is story. Okay, I love that. I love hearing that. Thank you so much, Platypus Industries. We really appreciate you showing up today. I have absolutely.
Feed the cheese. So think about it. So like the second one, they could potentially add in. I mean, obviously you want the Ratcatcher, right? But the Ratcatcher could be down there, and there could be like alligators or anything else that might be like in the sewers or the underground of like London or whatever. They got a hold of that cheese too, and also mutated. You could add a whole bunch of weird.
I love the magical
animals.
cheese. It's so awesome, right?
So
yes, thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'd back this. Like,
if
this
I was a scientist, I would totally mix animals together.
This is my number 2 for the week, and there's only, I mean, the number 1 for the week is probably obvious for me, but like this was fantastic. This was a gem that was ran across
your number
on
1
this.
could go one of 2 different ways. I'm curious to know what your number 3 is though, because I want to know if it's the same as my number 3.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so next up we have For Science, Full of Science by Gray Fox Games.
For Science!
This is for 1 to 6 players. It lasts 15 minutes. This is a cooperative game where you're going to be going through and trying to like create little strains and everything. And then all of a sudden you guys have to like build up those strains per how you created them in the cards. And then you see who wins on that. Then you like level up your little things.
Yeah, there's like
versus how well you did.
Yeah, there's like some engine building. And
Yeah.
There's like some kind of pattern thing you do on the bottom too to like discover the virus or something.
Yeah, and then whenever you're stacking things up, it tells you which blocks you can stack them up on. And when you're stacking them, you don't have to necessarily put them like all upright. You can stack them, but they do have to be touching in certain ways, which is super, super awesome, okay? Like, this looks fantastic. Dr. Gloryhogg, what do you...
number 3?
What are your thoughts on this game?
I think it looks interesting. I mean, I saw different reviews that said it was very unique. I didn't hear anybody say that it was like amazing, that they love it. I like a lot of Gray Fox games. I don't know if I really like stacking games that much.
This portion right here where you have like the little map, once you get those tiles, and then you're also trying, but I love that so much. I know, you love that
spatial manipulation. I do not enjoy that. I don't think I really want a stacking game.
Okay.
The problem I have with stacking games as a very animated person is my stacking games go, so not only do I have shaky hands, but as I stack things, which is already just dangerous with shaky hand syndrome over here, then it's like there's always something that bumps the table or a cat comes up. I just feel like I just don't play a lot of stacking games. If you think about it, how many stacking games have you ever seen me play ever? Like, I think I played Junk Art once, and I think I accidentally bumped the table and somebody stuck on it and they got super mad about it, and I was like, cool, I'll just never play this game again. Like, I just don't really like a bunch of stacking games.
Oh, apparently there's quite a few people in here that do not enjoy stacking games as I'm going through here. So John says real-time and stacking are both no's for me.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of real-time either.
This does look like Junk Art, Alan. Absolutely. It has that Junk Art feel to it, which is a very cute game.
Game space.
Guys, this is a party game. The doctor with shaky hands? That doesn't sound safe.
It's true. It's so weird. So when I was in like combat lifesaver course, you had to give people like IVs, right? So they actually had you practice this. This was before Afghanistan and everything, so we were practicing it, and I was totally fine with people giving me IVs. I had 2 people on each, like I had 1 person on each arm at the same time, because some people would pass out if they were getting one. They'd get all nervous. So I'm like, yeah, sure, give me one. When I had to do it to somebody else.
All right, Dr. Gloryhogg, this is by the designer of Spirit Island. Does that change your mind at all?
No. Because
no?
Not even in the same realm. It's a completely different game.
I thought this looked fantastic, guys. It is a party game, first off.
Yeah,
okay?
I feel like we have those, though.
This particular game, you're going to be playing with a party of people. It does say, 1 to 6 players, but I feel like it's going to be one of those crazy party games where everybody's trying to throw everything down and match it, and then you're trying to build stuff up, and then you're trying to solve all of these problems together. And those are fantastic for kids who need that action and want to do things and keeping them involved in the game. It's fantastic for, obviously, like I said, parties before. It's fantastic to bring new people to your table that are non-gamers, because this is a game that's going to be exciting to play. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I believe you. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying for me. If you're asking my opinion, I don't particularly like stacking games a whole bunch in real time.
Exciting to play, and then I feel like the extra added level that it has from Junk Art is the fact that there's those little tiles that you're trying to place down to also solve to get like your little engine levels going.
Yeah, I think the engine building part of it is really cool. That's what makes it
those things right there.
Yeah.
The master cure tiles. Like, I thought that was really unique.
I think all that's fine. I just don't think it's a game I'm going to ever be excited to play. It doesn't mean I won't play it, but I mean, I'll never be excited about it.
Well, it puts like the challenging portion.
You will not convince me.
It puts the challenging portion of trying to solve things with the cures and then the cure tiles and stuff like that and building them with the stacking portion, which for me, I am not a huge dexterity stacking person, sort of game person, right? A gamer. But the added complexity that these tiles and then making the cures and stuff added to it was what drew me in. That's what I'm saying, is that for me, who doesn't like party games, guys, I don't enjoy party games, okay? Let's just be upfront about this.
Yeah, but see, I do enjoy party games. I like the social deduction games and like kind of the like trial by trolley interactive type games. I enjoy those. So for me, I don't need this type of party game. For
but
me,
this feels
more like an introvert's party game. Where like,
oh
yeah, you're yelling and you're building, but you're not really like doing stuff together. So how is it even really a party? It's just a bunch of yelling at a table.
Oh, you are doing stuff together though. You're making all those things together.
You don't stack together.
No, you're making your cures and stuff like that.
I don't got
you got to make all that stuff together.
I would have more fun just doing dumb stuff and yelling for science than I think than doing that.
Okay, so Nathan says, this totally is making me wish I had so much more money for Kickstarter. Gosh, every week, Nathan, let me tell you, okay? I wish I had tons more money for Kickstarter.
I feel like it's going to be a good family game, but, you know, that's not a game that we as a family play a lot of. Our kid doesn't typically play a lot of those stacking games either, besides, like, Rhino Hero.
Mark says, I thought this one looked interesting for family game night. Absolutely. This is going to be a crowd pleaser and a table pleaser, and then it's going to be a little bit more interesting than just stacking blocks.
Petter cannot deal with this real-time stress right now, all right? Petter says N-O. That's fine.
Never, ever, ever play Zombie 15, FYI.
You see, Zombie 15 is great, Petter, do it. It's worth that stress because it's like an adventure stress.
If you want your heart to explode, play Zombie 15 as a real-time game. Heart will explode, guaranteed, okay?
Zombie 15 is the only real-time game that I can honestly say that I've enjoyed, that I've played.
John says, I'm an introvert. Don't lump me in with this game.
I don't, yeah, she sees it. I don't, but that's fine. We're not always going to agree on every game. This is not one that I would back. This is one that's a definite
oh my
pass
gosh.
for me at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought this looked fantastic. I thought they did
Was this your number 3?
This was my number 3. They did such a good job with this game. I was so impressed with Great
Now
Box
I'm curious
games.
what your number 1 is.
And then, on top of that...
We've seen your 2. We've seen your 3. What's the 1?
Well, and I don't usually like party games. So for me, I was super excited to like really like a party game like this.
Well, to be fair, you really enjoy Rhino Hero probably more than I do. Like you like
That's
that.
true.
So you like stacking games more. I like the flicking games, like Flick 'em Up, I think is fun.
I didn't enjoy Junk Art a whole lot though, but I feel like having the added stuff in this one would make me like it more. You know what I'm saying? Because you have that challenge of like actually trying to pre-build something and then building it hands-on and
we
stuff.
did like that like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that one as much.
Whatever one tower tournament one, and that one was fine. It was building up stuff, but it was once again those are the games I play for like 15 minutes and I'm just done with them and I don't want to go back to them. I'm never like let's play a whole game night of stacking games. Even Beast of Burdens, which had that whole like animal fighting and stacking them on top of each other. They were weird animals. Even that one was only fun for 30 minutes.
All right, guys, would you guys back this campaign? Let me know in the comments, guys. Okay, like.
It's not mark on the company. It's just a pass for me.
I would back this game. Here's the problem, though, is that I have 3 games I want to back this week, and this is number 3 for me.
Ooh. It's like we just slid that off the list. If we agree on 2 of them, those are the go-fors.
Petter says stacking is great, speed is not. Maybe we'll give you like a extra time. We'll give you 5.
Let's not talk about the wormwood dice and all the
5 more
crazy
seconds.
glass
Oh my
dice,
gosh.
gemstone dice, tungsten dice.
Oh my gosh.
So much. I don't need more dice right now. It's a hard pass. Please don't get my wife involved in that.
I don't know if I can like super support Wormwood a whole lot though anymore with all the craziness that happened with them this last few months. Oh, their whole marketing campaign that happened.
What did I miss?
One. You don't remember? It was like Wormwood, not for poor people or something like that.
I thought you made that up.
No, that was like on the internet.
Is that something that they actually... I highly doubt they put that out.
No, that happened. It happened. It was on the internet, and it was some mix-up that had happened, and it got put to like a marketing team that was separate from them that markets their stuff and everything. And so it was like advertised on the internet that way. And then there was like this big, huge thing that happened. And
wow.
I mean,
yeah,
you guys can just look it
I mean,
up.
It's not. I mean, it's luxury. It's luxury goods for a luxury hobby, but that's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't promote myself as not for poor people. That's like saying like our clothes are not for people that are above this certain weight, or this is not for people that look like this or do that.
Battle Cry says it has to be true if it's on the internet. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know. I missed it, so it doesn't bother me. No. I just don't like. I don't feel like I need to play premium for some of those things. Sometimes I do, but not for everything.
They did a huge like apology thing and everything. So if you guys want to look into that more, you can look into it.
Hey, third-party advertisers will do some shady stuff and just wreck your brand sometimes. There's been a lot of them that aren't good, like that whole Pepsi Cola one with Kylie Jenner, that whole protest. I mean, we could go into all these politics behind.
I think that's what ended up happening with them. But yeah, I mean,
I'm not worried about.
At least now you know about Ratcatcher, right, Alan?
I'm not worried about Wormwood at this point in time.
This train ran off the tracks.
I would have to have just excess piles of money for Wormwood, and that's fine. I'd rather have games than just dice.
All right, Dr. Gloryhogg, would you back this?
No, I thought that was very clear.
I would back this.
I know I would play it for science, but I would not back it.
Guys, look at you're making cute little cures. Look at them, and then you got to stack them.
My cures do not look like wooden blocks. Hashtag never.
They're the building blocks of...
If I'm going to cure somebody, it's going to be by injecting rats with some type of mutagen and having them bite people. That's how I cure people.
All right, Dr. Gloryhogg, we're moving on. Jeez.
Are you just super sad that we didn't agree on this one?
Jeez.
Next up, seen you fight for some.
Next up is Planet Unknown. This is by Adam's Apple Games. It's for 1 to 6 players. It's going to last about 60 to 80 minutes here. This is a really interesting game because you have a Lazy Susan style board at the deluxe edition, okay? So not in the base pledge, but in the deluxe edition, you're gonna be using the Lazy Susan style board, and then you're gonna be pulling polyominoes, which is gonna be your terraforming sort of thing, and you're gonna be placing these on planets, okay?
See, Platypus is all about mutant rats. If you guys haven't noticed, mutants are my thing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, mutated goats, now mutated rats. I'm just saying, let's get this world freaking.
When are you gonna get mutated, Dr. Gloryhogg?
Oh, I've been mutated. You kidding me? Some of the things they gave me in the army.
You just inject you with anything.
I'm pretty sure that stuff was not tested.
All right.
Is this your number one?
It's not time to reveal right now. Jeez, Dr. Gloryhogg.
Wow.
So, all of these planets are...
Hashtag mutate me.
Variable, okay? So each one you're going to be building on differently because they're going to give you different aspects. And then as well as those little player boards that you have on the sides there, those are also variable. And I mean, everything is asymmetrical in this game. The entire game is asymmetrical. You have asymmetrical planets and player boards and stuff. Like your combination for winning will 100% be completely different from anybody else at the table, and probably different every single time.
So Alan is saying they heard your need for Lazy Susan, they delivered. But I'll remind Alan that sometimes the people ask for things, and then when they get it, they don't want it. Hashtag the TARDIS. Hashtag never forget. Oh, you guys asked me for the TARDIS. Oh. I gave you the TARDIS, and you didn't want it. I'll never forget that.
Wow, it wasn't the TARDIS, to be fair, okay?
None of them were the thing that they were supposed to be because of copyright issues.
There is not a Lazy Susan for the player boards, okay? The player boards are stagnant, okay?
So I guess for me, I have two critiques for this.
Okay.
So it looks it looks kind of like, the thing I liked about Isle of Cats was that there was drafting involved besides just the tile placement. This one has the polyomino tile placement. And I like this because you're drafting off of this circle, so you can kind of like decide where you want to draft off and everything. I do really enjoy that. I think the one thing that makes me sad is if you're getting the deluxe version, which has that Lazy Susan, the nicer one, and then has like the recessed boards, like the...
Yes, the recessed really boards, yeah.
Why do companies, when they make these, not make the outside edges of your player board recessed also? So like this one here, that planet itself is flat. Like why isn't the outside of the planet also like raised up? So that, I know like the inside can't be, right? Because you got to put your tiles in there and move them around and stuff. But why can't the outside be raised up so that when I put a tile in there and then I put another tile in there, it feels more locked in, and that it's not going to just be like a big breeze, whoosh, and then all my tiles slide off, right? Or if my cat bumps it, like they all get completely destroyed. At least they'd be mostly in the middle still, right? Am I the only one who feels like that? Like I thought that about Isle of Cats too. I was like, why aren't the edges of the boat raised up so that when you put them in there, they feel like they lock in? I know it costs more money, but dang it, if I'm paying for deluxe, I want it. Yeah.
So you just want more recessing of boards.
For a tile, any type of game where you have to put something on your board.
Little polyomino style
yes.
things. Okay. All right. That's fair.
And I know it costs more money, but I mean, you're already paying for deluxe. I'd rather have that than like, say, like a wooden first player token. I know that's probably not the same amount of price, but
you also have little items that you're going to be putting on top of the stuff that you're terraforming because
meteors and your little
right, because on those polyominoes there's like good and bad things that you can have happen, so you have to like cover up the bad things and stuff as you go around. Like, it's a pretty interesting game. I'm interested in it, but
what?
Well, maybe I should save my butt here.
Oh, and here's
first,
the other thing.
you go ahead and tell me what you think about the game.
Here's the other thing with the Lazy Susan board. I feel like it's great for us because we have a small table because you kind of want to have your board close to it, your planet close to it, so you can see like, oh, this is clearly for me whenever it's pointing this way. If you're playing on a big oblong table though, where everyone's kind of sitting farther apart, I can see how that'd be like, so I get a draft from over there? Okay, I draft from over there. That makes sense. You know
so like
saying? You'd almost want your board up close to it so that it's easy to tell which little pie section you get when you're rotating that thing around in the middle. If you're farther away, like we're at Greg's house on their big table, I'd be like, do I get from here? What angle am I at? Like, I'd almost like need someone to put like chalk lines down so I know like this is my pie. I get to draft from this section.
Yeah.
That could be kind of annoying.
I was going to say, I thought that they were color-coded on there somewhere.
Oh, I don't know.
They have a lot of the Lazy Susan portion on there. You can't see the thing.
The Lazy Susan board itself because it changes every time. That's the whole point. Like if I'm picking, I spin the board around to get the stuff that I want, and that changes what you guys do.
Okay, now I see what you're saying. Okay.
So the little pies that come off there, right? So if we're not sitting directly next to each other like this, I can see that kind of being an issue if you got a really big table.
Okay. Here's my one thing with it, guys. Okay, I love the fact that each of these planets are different. Like, that's really cool. I think it's really interesting the fact that each of the separate sideboards are also different, but I think
really
the
good.
combination of all of them together, I have no idea how that's going to go because it's so many asymmetrical things happening.
It's no more than Barrage. Barrage has your character, and then they have like your industry. That's 2. And then you got your little rondelle in there. It's the same thing as Barrage.
If it was Barrage.
Same thing as Scythe. You got your board, and then you got your faction board, and then you got your other board. That's 2 asymmetrical pieces.
What are you talking about?
There's
like, so
only
you have the one faction board in there.
Right, 1 faction board, and then you've got your planet. That's 2
okay. So what I'm
asymmetrical
saying
pieces.
is that you can have one version of rules, which is going to give you like the outcome of how you're going to play the game. You know, the asymmetrical portion, how you're going to win, right? Which is like the little side player boards. But adding the player boards with the asymmetrical planets, because they're different conditions. Like, I feel like you can have a lot of things that couldn't match up, is what I'm saying. Like, you could have more combinations of having a planet that would have things that are not going to complement your board and maybe put you really behind. I'm just talking about the fairness of having so many asymmetrical options. It's a really hard thing to balance so many asymmetrical options like that. Does that make sense?
It's only 2 asymmetrical options, though, which a lot of games we've played has that. That's 2. Because, like, you don't win off your planet. When you go all the way up on your little player board, that gives you bonuses and stuff that you can use, like, on your planet.
No,
or vice versa.
the asymmetrical planets, though, because as you're placing things and everything, they could not be complementary to your boards. That's what I'm saying. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you could have combinations that are just really good versus combinations that are just really bad.
But your planets would need to be asymmetrical. If you're playing the exact same board and then just had asymmetrical side things, it would be very boring. I don't personally feel that as a down thing. I'd have to look at it more to understand what
I'm
you're
just
talking
saying
about.
the math in order to do that and make everything fair for that is insanely exponential for 1 to 6 players worth of boards and characters.
I feel like we've played, and I gave you 2 good examples of games that have at least 2 asymmetrical parts that don't always match up well. Like, you could be like the Rust Fit with Scythe and then have a different mechanical board and be like, oh man, that one's going to be like less about production, it's more about this, and that can be an issue, but you just make it work.
Let's hear. So let's hear. Platypus says, I would have said as long as you had the Lazy Susan, you'd get an insta-back from Gloryhound. Ah, it's got bad reviews so far. Let's see here. I think they're too caught up in debating right now. I'm 100% caught up in debating right now, guys. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't see it as an issue.
Mommy and Daddy, hashtag Mommy and Daddy are fighting.
but we've played lots of games with 2 asymmetrical parts that have been just fine. So.
Oh my gosh, John just killed me right now. Hashtag we need Greg. Yes, we need a Greg. We need the third for the decision. Okay.
Isle of Cats. Technically, your drafting cards was an asymmetrical portion, and then your goals are asymmetrical.
Petter has it 100% right here. The tapestry problem.
This is a much smaller game, though. Tapestry came out with like 30 civilizations.
With all of this.
Tapestry came out with like 30 civilizations. That was their problem. This is a much smaller game.
It wasn't 30 civilizations.
There was a lot. There was a lot of civilizations.
Okay, so let's see here. A high degree of points come from your tile placement, but the main reason for the asymmetry is to give you different play patterns to explore, which I really, really enjoy. So Adam's Apple Games, I like what you're doing here. It's just a lot of asymmetricalness. Like, I wish I knew like the numbers on which, like this is going to be something that people are going to look up on the internet later and be like, if you have X board with X planet, like you're going to get X percentage of better outcomes and winning the game.
Well, even if there's 6 planets and there's 6 sideboards, I mean, that's only 36 combinations, right?
To balance, that's 36 different, you got to play test 36 different style of combinations so many times to ensure that. Doesn't Scythe have
like 7 and 7? That's 49.
I think your relation to having Scythe compared to something like this is not the same.
Okay, Barrage is what, 4 player?
No, because you still have like 1 player board that everybody's operating off of, and you have characteristics of 1 player board
and your changes. What I'm saying, because you got your character that you play as, and then you got the company you play as in Barrage.
No, that's just an added ability. It's totally different. Having an added ability is different than asymmetrical winning options. So you can have player abilities, and asymmetrical gaming is 2 completely different things, guys. 2 completely different things, okay?
Yeah, I don't know.
So the interaction of the game allows you to balance the combinations too. For example, if I have a hutch, you have a more powerful combination. People at the table will target you with worse tiles. Oh.
Yeah, because you get to pick what other people get by what you pick. So if I move the thing over here and I make sure that I get this thing, I can make sure that you're only getting stuff that you don't want.
Okay, so what Adam's Apple Games is saying that the balance is definitely based on player interaction. So like if you see somebody at the table, so that adds a lot more to it, where there could be good combinations, there could be bad combinations. However, you're trying to police. You have police at the table trying to police other planets and make sure that things are going to happen. Which actually adds a whole new level to the game, because then you have people at the table going, oh, well, I see such and such is doing that over there. Like, you know, DrGloryhogg, why don't you do this? Don't like you knew. Don't like you knew up in here.
I mentioned that with the drafting.
No, you're still talking about asymmetrical stuff versus non-asymmetrical stuff.
The drafting of the
player
tiles.
powers.
That's why you have the ability as the first player to change the board around. So you pick what you draft and what everybody else gets.
Okay, hence the lazy Susans. I will give you all the meteors if your board combo is powerful. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, Adam's Apple Games. That makes me feel 100 times better. 100 times better, okay?
I don't know, guys.
Because I was thinking of just the pure math of it and having all of those asymmetrical things, and I was thinking, man, how would you even begin to balance such a vast game? Like, I loved the idea of everything in this game and being able to have the asymmetricalness of planets and then the player boards and everything, but I wasn't sure exactly how the balancing was going to go in that. So absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. We always try to tag the companies whenever we go live with that. So, because we want you guys to show up and answer awesome questions like this for us, because that makes a huge difference for me in this game. Okay, so this is another $49 game.
It was never an issue. Okay.
Wow, DrGloryhogg. I'm just saying that when you deal with asymmetrical games, there's a lot of really bad asymmetrical games out there because they didn't take the time to explore and balance all of them.
They do too much. Right, they try to do too many combinations. And I agree. I just feel like this one did not have so much going on with that it would be an issue, personally.
Personally. Well, you're wrong, sir. You're wrong.
I feel like I'm not. Adam's Apple has my back. And they have no stakes in the game.
Alan says, so did this jump up at Gloryhound? Okay. Per the new information, guys. Per the new information. I'm much, much happier with this game because I was really nervous about the math in it. But having the ability at the table to try to police people, I really like that aspect in the game. And I think that having so many different puzzles to solve in this is a really fantastic idea. I like that portion of it.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be another one of those kind of Isle of Cat type games where you feel like you're just, oh, I'm just putting down polyamas, but there's just so much more to it. And this one seems like it has even more interaction.
All right, per the information, this is knocked down one of mine. Okay, so
it knocked out one of your other ones?
I'm gonna have to demote for science. I'm sorry.
Weird.
I'm sorry.
Weird.
This has moved up to number 3, okay?
Yeah, your opinion is false, sir. That is correct. That is basically what just happened.
Your opinion is false.
I'm not mad about it. I just this was one of my 3. So I was like, I feel like this looks good. I thought for sure this would be one of yours because you love polyomino placing and it's space and you love asymmetrical.
That's right.
And it's got a spinning board. I thought this was 100% like your thing.
It was like win, 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 win.
This
check,
one
check,
was
check, check.
for me. I was like, oh, this is one she's probably just gonna back like before we even like talk about it. So I thought for sure this was one of your tops.
Oh my goodness! All right, guys. Petter says,
we don't need no science. We've got planets.
We don't need no stinking science
We've
here.
got unknown planets.
Okay, I would be excited with this. I personally.
Alice does not tell Platypus that this bumped Ratcatcher.
No way, I still enjoy Ratcatcher. Ratcatcher looks really good. So, gosh, dang it, I got derailed. What was I going to talk about?
If you would back it or not, I'm pretty sure.
I'd back this, guys. Per the new information, I'd totally back this. I was nervous about the math before, but this looks really good. I'm excited. I don't know if I'd play it with 6 players, though. That seems like a lot of people.
Well, at least the thing that you have going for you is that once you spin it, you're like, okay, I want this tile wedge, then everybody else picks from their wedge at the same time. And they're all placing at the same time. So that speeds it up. Because everyone's drafting their tiles at the same time.
And I can see how it would be a really fantastic, like...
That can only take so long.
2-player solo game because you're always going to have those really interesting combinations of stuff, right? It's insanely fun with 6 players. Oh my goodness.
I feel like you need the asymmetrical to make it enjoyable. Otherwise, you just be like, oh, this is this planet. It's got a lot of this. That's how I win. You know, or, oh, I'm playing this corporation. They're really good at bioengineering. I'm just going to go heavy on bioengineering and win. But if you've got different combinations, you got to kind of figure out a new puzzle each time. So, that's my thoughts.
What are you trying to say, Dr. Gloryhogg? What are you trying to say?
Nothing. Just explaining to you why I thought it looked good. So I thought it looked good. This is in my top 3.
Okay,
sure.
In your top 3. All right, so you'd back that?
Yeah, I would definitely back this one.
Right.
I thought for sure this was going to be yours.
Let us know in the comments, guys, if you guys would back that. I'm 100% down with this now. This is going to be an extremely expensive week. Good thing we got that stimulus check-in.
Did we get it in? Did we?
We definitely did not get our stimulus check-in, Dr. Gloryhogg.
You like keeping it a secret? Keep it a secret over here. Be nice to Platypus. It's really early over there. Jeez. Besides, if Platypus starts playing like Animal Crossing, we need somebody in the Southern Hemisphere so we can get scorpions and sharks.
Well, that's true.
So be nice to my new Australian friends. I've only got 2 Australian friends, and I'm trying to keep them. There's Ozzy Solo Gamer and Ella Loves Games. That's it.
All right, let's see here.
We still got 2 more games to talk about.
I know. Are you ready? Are you guys ready for this? Are you ready? Breathe, breathe. Are you ready for the hype train? Next up, we have Ankh by CMON Games. This is going to be for 2 to 5 players. It lasts for about 90 minutes. And if you ever want to be a god...
Or if you are a god and you're just kind of want to playtest being like an Egyptian god...
then this is the game for you. As you're going to be sending your little people out across the land, trying to get devotion. Well, your little followers across the land, trying to get devotion, while also gaining your own power, sending out monsters, having a little bit of area control in there because you're trying to control your region. And this is an Eric Lang game. The last Eric Lang game that he did, which was just him, I believe, was, what was the, gosh, the name has escaped me.
Victorian Masterminds?
No. Rising Sun. There we go.
I was like, which one are you talking
Alan
about?
says, I watched the Stargate movie yesterday. It was on while I ate. Brecky?
Breakfast.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the heck is Brecky? Stargate is an amazing, amazing... That's like one of my all-time favorite movies. I love Stargate so much. Oh my gosh.
What's a goose's favorite game? I don't know, Petter. What is a goose's favorite game?
What is a goose's favorite game? I don't know.
We'll have to wait casually. Stargate is really good. So this one was like kind of like, I feel like I had shifting emotion. The first, I was like, well, I don't really need another big CMON game. And then I was like, but it's also like the third one, and it kind of like is in a series, and I feel like it's potentially going to be even better than the other two, because there's parts about Blood Rage that I didn't enjoy, because Blood Rage was super area control, and I suck at that, so I didn't enjoy that part about sucking really bad at it. And then there was Rising Sun, but I thought like Rising Sun kind of took too long, and there's too much pairing up, and if you have an odd number of players and one person's always left out,
And it's not as good as an odd, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's not as good at 5 or at 3. But I feel like this one mashes them both together in a way and might be more interesting, because I liked that it matters what god you pick. This has asymmetrical gods in it. Like if you're playing the god of the dead, like whenever you kill stuff,
variable player powers.
Sure. If you're playing the, and I know that matters to you, but I don't care. If you're playing the god of the dead and like people die in battle, like I get them. They become mine unless you pay me followers to get them like back. That's pretty sweet.
No, absolutely. I agree. Like this looks amazing. So first off, the buzz on this game, I've only heard good stuff from people. Talking to people in the community and stuff, from industry people that
have been playing it.
Only heard, like, people are super excited and hyped about this game.
People that get the game, you know, that see a lot of games are excited. Like people from like Dice Tower and stuff like that. So that's
right.
They see a lot of
exactly.
games. So there's got to be something good about it for them to even be interested.
Exactly. I really like the fact that if you have a group that is behind, you can also combine forces to try to take things down as well.
Oh, this is the joke. Ankh, Ankh, Ankh.
Wow.
This is his favorite game. Okay, that was pretty good. I did not see that one coming, Petter. I did not see that one coming.
Oh my gosh, Petter.
They killed her. She's been slayed. I'll give you a moment to rest up.
That was fantastic.
I like the idea, though, that you get to play it, that the different gods have like different powers. It doesn't just feel like, oh, I'm playing the Fox clan. And they have that in Rising Sun, but you're like, oh, I'm playing this clan, and they get to do this one thing differently. It feels like there's like more epic things happening because you're supposed to be playing a god. And Eric Lang did talk a lot about how you're supposed to feel like a god in this, and that you'll have different, like this time it's not like, oh, you've got this, like this troll, nobody else get that troll. There's multiples of the same creature, so you could both have them. And then it's like, we might have cat demons or we might have like mummies, but you might not have both. So like the game will play differently based off of what creatures get pulled into the game, and that kind of changes how it feels. So you don't feel like, that's one thing about Blood Rage I feel like is like, oh, there's certain guys I really, really want, and if they don't show up, I'm bummed about it, but there's still like, you're always going to see certain characters are always going to come out, and you're like, okay, well, I know what they do, that's always going to happen this way, it's always going to do that one thing, but if we can both get them on, we can kind of like, you know, use them in different ways.
I feel like it'd be a little bit more balanced.
And if certain monsters don't come out because other monsters are out, I kind of like that it changes how the setup of it. It feels like it's going to have more replayability. With
this particular portion right here that I stopped at here, the action boards, this is what I'm super excited about, guys, is this action board where everybody is playing on this one centralized action board here. And as we're going across, you're limited by your actions, by what you go to. So like, you can't like go back. You have to get all the way to the end, and then you have to go back through in order to get those actions.
And the timing of when you want to trigger it.
Right,
make sure that's going to be the most beneficial for you. Plus, what Battlecry mentioned is that the gods kind of combine at the end.
Yes.
And you get like, you're getting your points based off the lower of the two gods.
Which I thought was so cool.
I need to know more about how that works, but the idea of combining at the end makes kind of a difference where you almost like don't want to completely destroy somebody, because then if you combine with that person, you're going to get kind of screwed because it's going to go off of the lowest loyalty. It
has a combat system that's just based off of cards, and then things that happen on those cards, like plagues and stuff like that. So the combat on it is really interesting as well. Like, you don't have that same, okay, you know, when you have a group of cards in your hand, and you can kind of figure out what people have played and what goes in and out and stuff like that. With this one here, you still have like that sort of extra added action on it, which could totally mess you up as you go along as well.
Right, and they had some of that in some of the other ones too.
Which I really liked.
I think the thing that I liked about the other two games that kind of came before is I learned about like different mythologies that I didn't necessarily know about, right? Like some creatures I was like, oh, I've never heard of that creature before. Or I'm like, yo, what's this new Japanese, like what's that, the lady that was like a willow tree with a bunch of heads? Like that was creepy.
So, okay, in the comments here, FOMO is how CMON is currently pronounced, for real. 100% that I completely agree, Petter.
It's their brand. They invented it and people are copying it.
Right? Okay. So, combining the gods near the end of the game sounds very interesting, says Battlecry. Voltron style combining, that's what I want to see. the gods just combine all their little followers together into like a little Voltron style monster, right?
Like a bunch of rats with their tails tied together. Oh, sorry.
They also like to send to retail before the Kickstarter backers. That is true. You always have the chance of that happening. However, that is usually done because the Kickstarter backers are receiving extra content.
Yes, it takes longer.
So it does take longer for them to produce that extra content that they add to the games in order to send those out to the backers. So
the thing that's tough about
that's the switch.
Yeah, the thing about Kickstarter that's hard is that it's the game versus the company. I feel like most of the complaints are coming about the company less so than the game. So
Right.
that's going to definitely change your perspective on it.
Either way, though, I wouldn't want a CMON game as a retail version
Unless
game.
it's like a little tiny game, like Foodies or something like that.
Because of all the stuff that they offer extra. Like, I'm okay to wait. Like, I'll wait for all the extra stuff that they put into these games.
We got so much stuff for Rising Sun. The only thing I worry about this is that all my friends are going to back it too. So I'm going to have to like call up people.
We're going to call up the people and be like, hey guys, are you guys backing this game?
That's the big thing. That's the big thing. But I mean, if I get to play as a god, I'm pretty much always all in on that.
Okay, I get to be Anubis. I want to be Anubis, guys. I'm Gloryhound. I get to be Anubis. I want to be the god of the dead.
God of the dead is so sweet.
You can be the god of the underworld if you would like.
Isis
okay.
is like the best looking god, I feel like.
All right.
So that'd probably be me.
Isis is pretty awesome, you know.
I mean, I'm not huge into birds, but I just feel like Isis is the pretty one. So.
They picked really fantastic
Osiris,
looking. Yeah, Osiris is the god of the underworld.
Yeah, see, I'll do Osiris.
He has his little warrior. Look at, they're so good, and all their miniatures and stuff always look amazing.
Those crocodile mummy things.
At $100 bucks.
If it stays at $100,
$100.
If it stays at $100 and I don't feel like I'm missing out on a bunch of stuff, I'm in.
Here's the thing, too. Here's why
it might change, but I hope it doesn't.
So usually what CMON does is they have their campaign at a base price, and then it's like add-on, 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 add-on halfway through the campaign, and then by the end of the campaign, you're $300 in, you're like, what just happened? I got bamboozled, guys.
I really feel like, though, what I'm going to start doing with CMON, though, is I'm just going to buy the base if I really like the game, because you still get most of those, exclusives, Kickstarter exclusives, usually come with the base, and then only buy expansions if I really feel like I need them. And that makes a big difference, right?
Here's the thing with this, though. It's just, as when I last looked, I thought it was only the $100.
It is right now.
That's it.
Right. But that tends to change. They tend to do that like mid-campaign, or they release stuff to kind of get that hype going again and everything. So as of right now, at $100, I'm in. If it gets to be one of those $300 all-in fest, I'm going to have to think about it a lot harder for every $50 they add.
Oh my
to this
God, look at these 3D temples, guys. Why haven't we unlocked this already? Oh
this one's going slower, but I feel like they've kind of, because there's two things that's working against them. Besides COVID, there is some anti-CMON backlash, and then plus they had that whole CMON, there's that whole, are they going insolvent, bankrupt type of things going on right now. So I think that's going to really hurt people.
That's going to hurt them a little bit with that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to back this game.
Yeah.
This was my number one, guys. This was my number one because I thought the mechanics of it were so interesting with the action boards and stuff in this. And then I love area control games, first off. And then the theme of it was just fantastic. I love having that ability, like you're like, I'm God. I'm sending out to my followers to do my bidding.
Are you a Ameritrasher? Does theme matter to you? I thought you were the strategic gamer.
I am the strategic gamer, but
then the theme should matter. This could all just be little wooden blocks,
no,
right?
No. It could be little blocks, like it could be like an older style commit or something like that, and it'd be fine.
And your character name could just be Fred Johnson.
No, I don't want my character name to be Fred Johnson. No.
Fred Johnson.
Okay, so Petter says I have a good self-discipline, except with Marvel, so probably I can just do the 100. Let's see here.
Nathan's saying that Masamura feels slightly lesser, Marvel United feels lesser. Yeah, there's some that definitely feel like you're losing a lot if you don't back it at the Kickstarter level. I feel like this one with the little extra bits and stuff makes a big difference when you're playing a game. Like Reichbuster's playing with it and having all the little pieces just really made a difference. It just felt like a much more epic campaign.
I am not sure who the artist is on this Fatal Paper Cut, but the art in it is fantastic. I agree. Look at Frosthaven. People are going away from FOMO.
I can see that. And people are definitely being a lot tighter with their money now, too.
Especially right now.
Which makes sense. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that this is one that, I'm always a sucker for stupid trilogies too. If this is gonna be the third one, I kind of want to get it because, like I've said with games, sometimes the third one is better than the other two because they build off of that. It's like the opposite of movies. First movie is almost always the best, and then the sequels kind of suck. With games, sequels tend to get better. I haven't had very many sequel games that I feel like have gotten worse than the first ones that came out first. I've had expansions that have made games worse though.
Adrian Smith is the main artist. I think the exclusives will still get people to open their wallets. Absolutely, I think so too. Because $100 with all the exclusives that they end up putting into this game, like I'm never disappointed by a CMON game that shows up to my door. When one shows up to my door, I'm like, holy crap, I can fit my child inside this box. And then I take everything out and I get all excited because I'll be opening up stuff for the next like 3 hours, okay? That's how it goes, and I love it so much. And yeah, this was a win for me right out of the gates because of everything I've heard from it. I really liked the play style in it, and I thought it had some really unique things going on in it.
Yeah.
I loved the theme. Like, it was win-win-win for me on this, guys.
The only thing about Kickstarter is I just wish that sometimes I could go back in time and be like, I don't need that one because this one seems better. I'm thinking of a game right now that I know we backed that I'm like, I feel like this is just going to be better than that game. But that's not how that works. So that's okay.
Ankh doesn't play solo, so I'm fine, says Nathan.
Yeah, usually these ones that Eric Lang does are not really meant for solo. They are meant for conflict of some sort, either economic or political or combat.
Although CMON Games usually has a whole bunch of extra ads, I don't know if they're going to do a whole bunch of extra ads this time around.
Yeah, I don't
because
feel like they
of
but they usually
the
do that
state
within,
of everything.
I feel like they usually release those within like a week of it coming out, like usually like right away.
I think so too, and I don't think they're gonna end up doing it because I'm not seeing it. I think they're just gonna go with the one base price, which I think is a really nice and smart move. It gives them like a little bit of like that credibility. Like, we're gonna give you a ton of stuff. It's gonna be $100. Back it now. Like,
yeah, which is kind of how
get your thing.
That's how I feel about some of the other companies that do it, where it's like just a set price, and you're like, oh, this is good. It's this, and I don't mind if there's extra add-ons for like, you know, metal coins or something like that. But whenever it's just like expansion after expansion after expansion, there's 4 expansions you can get, like with Marvel United. I was just like, too much. It was overload for me. It was like too much. I can't do it. Stayed away from it.
All right, guys, let us know in the comments if you guys are going to be backing this campaign. Dr. Gloryhogg, are you backing this?
Yeah, this is my #1 of the week.
This is my #1 of the week, guys. We're backing it.
This and Ratcatcher.
We're backing it. We're back.
I think our 1 and 2s are both matched up.
Yeah, they're both matched up this week, which are just those. One is like a campaign style game with like Ratcatcher, where you're not campaign, but dungeon crawl style game. Mm-hmm. And then this one here has a little bit of that area control and stuff like that.
Which I'm okay with because there's more to it. It's not just straight area control.
Right.
I have to have something added to my area control. Otherwise, I just lose bad.
Let's see here. John says, Ankh only started 4 days ago, so there's still some time for them to add it.
And that might change our opinion, just like anything else. That could definitely change our opinion if it gets too ridiculous. But if it stays fairly close to that $100, I'll be fine with that. Or if I feel like they add stuff that I don't feel like I need to have. I'm getting more and more to the point where I feel like some games I'm like, I just need retail version, or not retail version, but I just need the Kickstarter version, the base set. And if I want expansions, I'll buy them later. And come on, at least if nothing else, you can get expansions later. Maybe not Kickstarter exclusives, but you can get the expansions later.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Let's see here. Come on, they're going to add more things to buy, says Mark.
They might. They might. But right now, at $100, I'm in.
All right.
I don't want to miss another one.
Lastly, we have Wolfenstein. This is by Archon Studios.
It's Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein. Oh, I got to play the video. There you go. Okay. This is by Archon Studios. This is for 1 to 4 players. It's going to last about 60 to 90 minutes. This is another dungeon crawl style game where you are allied forces and you are fighting against the Nazis in the game, and you're trying to sneak through and take them out before you guys get caught making noise and all sorts of other stuff in this. It has a lot of similarities to the game that we played quite recently called Reichbusters by Mythic Games, which I thought was really interesting because they even have like little doors, plastic doors and stuff. In this particular set here for Wolfenstein, though, you can go all out and get an entire plastic dungeon. Did you see the entire plastic piece?
I did.
It is
with,
crazy.
Like, the walls and everything.
They did all the walls. Like, you can use that for D&D adventures. Like, you can do all sorts of stuff with that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is insanely detailed that they just had a lot of detail to this here. And today, not only are we going to be talking about this campaign, but I've had some people ask me about the differences between this and Reichbusters, so we'll probably go over a little bit of that as well. But first impressions, Dr. Gloryhogg, what are you thinking?
So there's no way to talk about this game without talking about Reichbusters. There's just, I don't know how. I think in a world without Reichbusters, this would be more interesting. In the world with Reichbusters has that kind of weird viral add-on that makes things like more mutated and stuff. This doesn't seem as much that way. This seems a little bit more cookie cutter Nazis with mechs. Like it's just two things, not like Reichbusters has has mechs, viral, which is like mutations, all in on mutations, guys, and then like the whole Nazi aspect. So there's like kind of like a mix. So I don't know. They share a very similar game space. They're not the same game, but they share a very similar game space. I feel like if you have one, unless it's like your favorite type of game to play ever, I don't really see you needing both. I'm just less impressed by this one than Reichbusters. I feel like Reichbusters seemed like a cooler world that still was like obviously there's still Nazis, but this one seems like less polished for some reason to me.
Here's the biggest difference I can see from the two, because they're extremely similar, guys. So with Reichbusters, you have more stand-up moments where the fate of things on the board can change because it is based upon this like cartoonistic like hero set atmosphere.
Yeah, big mobs.
Right, where you're going through and you are gaining special skills and points to maybe take out an entire room of people. And you get that feel. It's like that superhero feel to things. Like it's
when you mow down when Captain Thunderpants kicks down the door and rolls a grenade in, even though he knows that that's going to just set off a bunch of alarms and stuff, it's like an exciting moment, like heart beating moment.
Right, exactly. And there is more swayiness to it.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it fun and exciting. And I like
that epic feel.
That's exactly
it's like the difference of playing like a superhero versus just playing like a fireman. Firemen are great. We need them in real life, but like, they can only do so much before they get tired. But a superhero doesn't get tired. And that's kind of how you feel like with Reichbusters. You're just like mowing stuff down and like you're doing all these like calculations how to like get out of the room alive and everything. I don't know, I just feel like we're all in.
Reichbusters definitely has an epic feel to it. This one looks like it's set up to be more streamlined.
This one seems like it's definitely going to be like more like a traditional dungeon crawl.
A little bit simpler rules. You still have a dungeon crawl style game.
Right.
But I feel like you don't have as many checks going on for things and stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's a lot of bookkeeping with Reichbusters, but it never felt bad. Like, sometimes you might forget something, but for the most part, every time you do a rule check, you're like, oh, man, I made too much noise. I better check. It doesn't feel bad while you're doing it because you're like, oh, it's intense the whole time. Every time you roll the dice, it's tense in Reichbusters.
Here's the thing is, I'm not saying this game is like worse than Reichbusters. I'm saying for me as an individual, I love those epic moments more. And so I will play Reichbusters over Wolfenstein just because of that. Does that make sense? So you kind of have to go where you want to go with that thing. Now,
I can see if you don't have Reichbusters though, and you are a fan of Wolfenstein IP, which I played Wolfenstein like on computer. I don't know which one it was. It was maybe the second one or something. It was one of the earlier Wolfensteins, and it was fine. I never got to play it a lot though, because we're talking like this was like the 80s or 90s. It was my dad's computer that I could play every once in a while. I just feel like I'm not super invested into Wolfenstein. Like it's not like my favorite IP ever or anything like that.
Petter says, Gloryhound, you're an Ameritrash player.
Yeah, you are.
I like Ameritrash style games, guys, but
she married Ameritrash.
I don't like Ameritrash style games that are just about dice rolling. There's a big difference. There has to be a lot of strategic positioning of characters and gameplay as well. Like, I won't play just run out on a board and roll dice. Like, I don't like that at all.
Right.
Because then I don't feel like I have control over anything. Like, I have to have strategic positioning.
Well, that was the big pull for Reichbusters, was being sneaky the first half until you set off the alarm, and then it's like, oh, crap.
A strong theme for a game never hurts a game. If you can get into the theme of the game, that's just like an added bonus, and it makes the game so much better, you know? like Euro games, but if I had to choose between the two, of course, playing an Ameritrash game is going to usually be like more exciting to play.
Right.
You know?
Strategery.
I just like strategery, guys. Strategery.
You're like a goose. You like the games a goose like.
Ong, 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 ong.
That's what you like. That's fine. It's weird because like I don't want to compare the two because they are different games, but they share so many similarities. And if you put them next to each other, I just know which way. I personally, I lean towards Reichbusters. If I was a big Wolfenstein fan, I could see maybe possibly going the other way because there are some cool like mechanized turrets and like flamethrowers. There's some cool stuff in there, but you can really like one or the other. I feel like they're just too close.
You wouldn't be able to get two because they are too close, I think. Now, here's the thing with, this is why I had this particular game brought up to me, is because there was like some bad reviews going out on Reichbusters specifically because of the rule book.
Oh, okay.
Which you can,
like,
the rule book is not good, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of jumping around in the rule book, so we ended up kind of almost like summarizing the rules and putting them on like note cards. And I really enjoy playing Reichbuster, but yeah, there's parts where you're like, if I need to do this thing, well, why wouldn't it be under the player stuff? Like, it's under the enemy attack stuff. I'm like, okay, and then I got to go over here. There was a lot of bouncing around the rule book. That was not my favorite part.
It probably took me three days to fully 100% get everything in the rule book where I was like, all right, I got all of this down, because for the first few games, I was like looking things up here and there.
We definitely messed up the first 2 times we played it pretty decently.
With less things that you're doing,
it'll make it more streamlined.
It'll make it more streamlined, which is why I'm saying Wolfenstein is probably a little bit more streamlined game, because you're doing less stuff as you go through. Like, you're still doing some checks, but not as many checks as Reichbusters.
Right, and even just the player boards are just like less.
There's just less to it. You're not adding special abilities. Yeah, you're not looking and like referencing things.
You can upgrade, but like it's not the same, not quite at the same level where you've got like different attributes that you're adding to your character and everything else.
So as far as games go, if you're into this style of game and you would like the gameplay to be probably a little bit more streamlined because you're not having to check as many things and add as many things onto player boards and stuff like that, then Wolfenstein might be for you. However, if you want to slug through the rules of a game but get heroic and epic style gameplay, then you're probably going to want to go with Reichbusters, guys. And that's kind of just the bottom line of it. This game here, Wolfenstein, is $120. You have amazing looking miniatures. You have some crazy sort of like base that is being built out here and stuff. Yeah. Like, it looks amazing.
Yeah, I feel like in the world where this was the only one, I'd probably be more excited about it.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that's the problem with this one for me is like...
We also have Reichbusters in hand, so that gives us that advantage too. Like that one's, we haven't played both. We have Reichbusters in hand, we've played it, so that's always going to give you an advantage.
Right. Well, and Game Boy Geek has this one, but...
Yeah, we just haven't gotten to it yet.
Since we do already have the other one, I was not super excited to play this one because I saw the differences and I was like, well, this one isn't going to be as exciting as the other one for me, so like I didn't inquire further.
I do want to clarify something that Nathan said. He said bad rule books are his Achilles heel. I will say that Reichbusters wasn't horrible. It's harder when you're going to be playing it live and be one of the first people to play it live. That's what made it more difficult, because we had to make sure every rule was like airtight as much as we possibly could. So it took multiple plays to get going. If I'm playing at home, you fudge stuff. You're just like, oh, we forgot to roll that alarm. It's fine, just keep going. But when we were playing on camera, you really want to make sure that you hit everything so that your playthrough almost becomes like a pseudo rule book or a how to play almost. And it makes it a lot tougher. So it wasn't, learning it to play the first 2 times was not that bad. It was when we were like trying to make sure we had all the rules nailed down perfectly that it was like, okay, now this is becoming a pain.
Absolutely. When you're
little tiny rules, when you're like 5 plays in and you're like, okay, well now if I do this and I do this, does that trigger that now or later? Does that kill that scientist? Do we lose because I killed the scientist, or does that scientist not get hit by AoE damage? Like, there's little things like that.
So Platypus Industry says rulebooks are super hard to get right, and that is very true. You either have to have your rulebook done by experienced people, or you're going to suffer from people not understanding things correctly. Because it's like the best person to give a rulebook to would be like a Magic player and be like, here, take this rulebook,
Yeah.
Magic player, and see what you interpret from these things, because
Yeah,
they're
because I'm
very
over here like, is that a
specific
semicolon?
things.
Well, that changes it. That's a may
Right.
then, not a will or have.
right. There are very specific words that people who have not written rule books before may or may not choose to use, that hurts the rule book. And that's just
Yeah.
kind of how it goes with rule books.
And then not everybody speaks English as a first language. And then if I was explaining a game that I already knew how to play, it would be much more difficult to put that in a rule book than if I was like a third party, like trying to go step by step, because you built the game. You know how the game is played.
Right.
So
And you
there's
miss
gonna be things that
things.
you just like assume that they would know because
You already know them. So yeah, absolutely.
So you can miss writing it down.
So overall, I mean, for me, I enjoy the epicness feel, so I'm going to stay with Reichbusters here. But this does look like an interesting game. As far as, somebody was talking about Archon Studios, I'm trying to remember what else they had done. They had done a couple of things, but mostly like with miniatures and stuff like that, I think, in them.
Yeah, I think so.
And so at least, you know that, okay, you're going to be getting some quality items, but I don't know. I'm just not, I thought I would be more excited about a Wolfenstein sort of game. I can't tell if it's just because we already have Reichbusters and just played it or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have anything necessarily against this game. I just don't feel like it lives up to whatever. I feel like it almost feels like playing like something like Dragon Age. Well, I don't want to say Dragon Age. I'm trying to think of like a good game where it's like Destiny 2 and then going back to Destiny 1. It feels like I'm almost taking a step back for this one. Like it's going to be a little bit simpler. It's going to have a little bit less stuff. It just feels like I'm going back one version of a game.
That might be good for some people, though, because some people don't enjoy...
And not everybody has Reichbusters, so that's a thing, too.
That's true. Some people don't enjoy the intricacies of some of those dungeon crawls and how in-depth they get with things.
Right, like everybody likes different levels of RPGs. There's a reason why there's like rules like RPGs for people who just want to kind of enjoy it versus people that want to get into the nitty-gritty of things.
Right, where
That's
this is
always gonna
like, I would
exist.
say this is like a mid-style dungeon crawl game, because you're going to have a lot of stuff going on, but not so much that
Reichbusters probably
is
next
like
level.
definitely high. Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay, a
the game
game...
is worth 2 in the Kickstarter. That's 2. I don't want to tell you how many games I have on the Kickstarter that don't exist until they show up. Then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh, I love Petter's comments there. That's fantastic. All right, so for this one here, I'm going to have to say no. I just enjoyed that cartoonistic, hero-y, epic style feel to things more than this particular one here.
Weird World versus
Weird Worlds.
More real
Yeah.
world.
We like
Real world.
our robotic zombie crazy dogs to like
Double spawn and be like
and be
mutated
like crazy.
spider-looking
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Look at these Kampfenhoons.
They just like regular dogs.
They're fighting dogs, okay? Kampfenhoons.
I want weird dogs.
They're just fighting. They're not mutated, okay?
I do think that the expanded, like, where you could have the expanded dungeon is pretty cool. Though.
The
If you want to have walls and
the
stuff.
walls are freaking amazing looking, guys. If I was a heavy role-playing gamer, I would be backing this just for this stuff here, okay? Because look at all the files and stuff on those walls and everything. I want to see one of these painted, like, so bad.
Oh, yeah, it'd be
I mean,
really cool.
I don't want to paint them, but I want to see one of them painted because it looks amazing, okay?
I still really want like a dungeon game, and I know it's hard to do because they multi-use tiles.
Yes.
But where like there's like little like a puzzle where there's like little tabs where they actually like click in, so you don't feel like your tiles slide around on the board all the time. That's the thing that always kills me. Like even with Reichbusters, like you
Okay.
you bump one tile, and all of a sudden like 3 or 4 other tiles get moved slightly, and you're like,
Yeah.
go back to where you were. I want them to like,
back.
I want them to snap in, but I know if you're using the same tiles in multiple scenarios, it's like impossible.
Yeah, it is impossible.
So I understand it's not good. I just want all the things.
You want all the things.
Yes, please.
What? Dr. Gloryhogg wants all the things. All right, Dr. Gloryhogg, would you back Wolfenstein?
No, because of Reichbusters and not being a super huge fan of the IP. Like I said, I dabbled in it, but it was never a game that I was super invested in. Like Doom, I played it a little bit, but I never played it like tons.
Right.
Where I'm more into something like Halo, where because like by that point I was an adult, I had my own game system, and I could play Halo. So if this was Halo, I'd be much more excited about it because I'm excited about those characters.
Alan says, should have made them a Lego compatible. That's what I'm talking about. Have the bases of them Lego compatible, and then you can always just like stack them on top of like some Lego bases and stuff, right?
John also
That'd be
loves things and
fantastic.
wants them too. It's fair.
Listen, everybody loves things and wants things, you know? What was your favorite for this week?
Ankh. I think I'm
Ankh
most
for
excited
sure?
about Ankh, yeah. And then Ratcatcher because of different reasons, but I think Ankh and Ratcatcher are the two that I'm definitely going to back.
I really liked both Ankh and Ratcatcher as well, and I have to say that I think I was so surprised by Ratcatcher that like
It's just unique. We don't
yeah,
have a
it
lot
just
of that.
carries a really like special place where I'm like, oh my gosh, like this seems so amazing, you know?
And I like getting games that we don't already have a bunch of, because then I don't feel like I got to push something else out. I feel like I'm going to add it to the collection. It's not like,
Right.
this replaces this.
Plus, I can't wait to take pictures of all those tiny rats on something, like all those little tiny, what,
Like-
rapples?
Like on a tiny edible plate, a Ritz, if you will.
Oh my
Just
God, that would be
put some
amazing. I
rapples
can't wait
on
to
there.
take pictures of those so much, right? CMON has the potential to ruin Dr. Gloryhogg's love for Ankh. Yeah, that's true, because it could just get crazy in there and then you get super upset about it, right? Thank you for everybody that joined us today. We had, what, Platypus Industries in here, Adam's Apple Games. We had, who else showed up? I thought somebody else had showed up. Maybe just those two. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with
The
us.
Mega Entity
and-
CMON didn't show up.
What?
The Mega Entity CMON did
Oh,
not show up. They never show up to our shows
they
anymore.
never do.
This is all the Americans
We're
that
not
we know.
cool enough anymore. Fatal Paper Cut showed up though, and Alan did, and John. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. We had so much fun. Petter, you guys always make me laugh in channel. We had Nathan as well. We appreciate all of you guys being here and commenting us and telling us what you guys really liked. So for the week, give me your guys' number ones. I want to know what your guys' number ones are, okay? I think it's going to be an expensive week, guys, all right? It's going to be a super expensive week. So what else do we have going on this week?
Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, Air, Land, and Sea, Sea, Air, and Land, however you want to say it, Gambling Games. We're playing that on Sunday at 2 p.m. And we are going to be playing on Monday. We are playing Watergate, which is a new one.
Oh,
which
yeah, that's right. We're
actually,
playing Watergate.
I got that for her for Valentine's Day.
That's right.
We haven't played it yet.
Oh, John says Planet Unknown is my number
I can see
one.
that.
That's fantastic.
Top 3 for me.
We're also going to be playing One Page Bulge on Steve Jackson Games channel as part of their Classic Pocket
Yes.
Box series. So I'm super excited to play that. I'm going to be playing The Germans. So stay tuned for that. It's a little, well, I have it right here.
I already showed it to him.
It's a little tank game. I'm so excited. What else?
And if
What
there's
else we got
games you
going
want
on?
us to play, let us know.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
we're
that's
trying to play
right. That's
some of
right.
the longer games. Because I know that's what seems like what people are asking for is more Reich Busters. Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea seems to be doing well. So we try to do a big and a little.
If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe, share with your friends, give us some thumbs up and stuff like that. We really appreciate that. And I think that's about it, yeah?
7 hours to pay for Starlight. That's true.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. We totally backed Starlight too, yeah. So excited. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
All right, we will see you guys later. Bye.